The crazy thing to me about Janet Jackson is that she is somebody who changed the music industry, but she's never talked about. Over the past few weeks, I've been hearing people talk about Janet Jackson recently, and I was like, when did Janet Jackson get so many fans and stans who were like Gen Z and young? Because I'm like, y'all never talk about her. And it's like the young pop girls, they will study on Janet Jackson, but the regular young people don't know who Janet Jackson is. And the thing is, she has hits spanning the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. The interesting thing about Janet Jackson's career is that by the time that Michael Jackson, was not living anymore, she had very similar numbers to him on the Billboard Hot 100 for number ones and top 10 hits, which means to me that she was incredibly popular in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, especially the early 2000s, but people don't want to talk about her, That's crazy to me.
What's up, guys? When you look at Janet's monthly Spotify streams versus her peers such as Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and Madonna, it's clear that her music is relatively unknown by Gen Z, aka the music streaming generation. By this point, we all know what happens and who was behind the movement to have Janet's presence erased from the music industry. And sadly, in a number of ways, it did work. In this video, I'm not gonna focus on that. Instead, I wanna focus on the aspects of Janet's artistry that a lot of people are not aware of. I'm gonna provide timestamps in the description so you could jump to any part that interests you. Honestly, I'm very excited to talk about my belief that Janet Jackson basically birthed Britney Spears. Like left field pop culture and music commentary, I kindly ask that you like and subscribe for more, as it greatly helps my channel grow. Janet going viral with this song kind of feels like a bittersweet moment. Now, if you're not aware, Janet's timeless 2001 pop bop, Someone to Call My Lover, has been going viral all over TikTok. And now everyone and their mama knows this sound. As a Janet fan, I'm very happy to see that Gen Z is learning who she is, and Someone to Call My Lover is a great song to start with. But at the same time, it's a reminder how lost Janet Jackson's music and impact is on almost an entire generation of younger music listeners. People are saying things like, oh, Janet has bops? I didn't know Janet has good music. I thought she was just Michael's younger sister. Which honestly is an insane thing to hear when you as a fan know the amount of high quality, top tier songs and albums Janet Jackson has underneath her belt. Control is full of bangers about asserting yourself and taking control of your life as a young adult. The Velvet Rope is one of the first alternative R&B albums and is a roller coaster of emotional vulnerability, introspection, and brazen sexual expression. All For You is infectious pop that shows how fun, free, confusing, chaotic, and sexy post-divorce life can be. And I want to emphasize, Janet's songs and albums were not minor chart successes that came and went. Nah, Mama had hits that stuck like grits. Which leads me to the next part, Janet's crazy chart success and record sales. Here's the thing, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And Janet's numbers show that she's the motherfucking truth. A lot of people just don't know how successful Janet Jackson was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. If anybody else's favorite artist had Janet's success or stats, it would be no debate if they were highly influential or iconic. But because it's Janet, people act like she's just Michael's little sister who only made it because she has the Jackson name. For those that don't know, Janet has sold between 140 and 160 million records worldwide. She has 27 top 10 hits, 10 number ones. She's the first and only artist to have 7 top 5 songs from one project. Even in the streaming age, that still has not been outdone. She also has 7 number 1 albums. 2 of those projects, the Rhythm Nation and the self-titled one, are actually rumored to be diamonds, but because Janet refuses to update her certifications, we don't know to this day. And keep in mind, these numbers were before streaming, when you actually had to get out of bed and go to the store and buy the singles and albums. And with these numbers and chart stats in mind, it becomes even more tragic that Janet's music is almost completely unknown by a whole generation, when she's the one who inspired, if not downright birthed, some of our favorite artists. Which leads me to the next point, Janet's musical daughters and nieces.
What woman that wants to be a singer or performer wasn't influenced by her? She's incredible. I know even for my last video, I watched all of her videos because I always loved how she would take theater and mix it with the streets and some of that choreography and kind of mix it with her own little flavor.
Who do you want to work with now? Janet Jackson. I say
That
in all
was
my
quick.
interviews.
That was
It's
quick.
no hesitation. I admire her a great deal. She's a total performer, and I love to collaborate with her on something. So if you're listening, Janet, I love you.
Right.
I understand you're a big fan of Janet Jackson.
I am a huge fan of Janet. I try to mention her in every interview because I want to meet her and at some point maybe in my career collaborate with her. I admire her a great deal.
So for those who are unaware, in music, impactful artists have a family tree of artists that are clear descendants of their artistic lineage. When Nicki says,
all these bitches is my sons,
that's what I'm referring to. And in the case of Janet Jackson, she has quite a few daughters and nieces. In my opinion, Janet is the mother of Aaliyah, Maya, Sierra, Tinashe, Normani, and Tiana Taylor. And even when Janet is not the direct musical mother, she's damn sure the auntie. In my opinion, Janet is the auntie to artists like Beyonce, Rihanna, and Doja Cat. Janet basically created the genre of women with lighter voices that could dance their butts off. When it comes to the insane popularity of 2010s alternative R&B that brought us artists like Jhené Aiko, FKA Twigs, Kalela, The Weeknd, Frank Ocean, and Miguel, Janet was one of the first to incorporate alternative R&B soundscapes on 1997's The Velvet Rope. Fun fact, Janet was the first artist to utilize the headset microphone that is now standard pop star attire. Janet is also one of the first women in pop to utilize an alter ego, like the one found on her 2004 album, Demita Joe. Now, everybody has an alter ego like Beyonce with Sasha Fierce, Nicki with Roman Zelensky, and Britney with Britney Jean. And while the artists I mentioned are a very important and beautiful part of Janet's musical legacy, there is one artist Janet does not get enough credit for birthing. And I know this may ruffle some feathers, but hey, let's just talk about it. Next, I want to talk about Janet's impact on arguably the biggest pop star of the early 2000s. Janet Jackson birthed Britney Spears.
Janet Jackson, huge influence?
So much so. I love her. The other night, actually, me and the dancers, we got a thing of all of her videos. And after even seeing that, it totally inspired me even more. But I went to her show, and after seeing her perform, she just, you know, she's amazing.
You saw the Velvet Rope tour?
Yeah, she's really, really good. And ever since I was a little girl, I've totally looked up to her. And when, you know, I saw her videos when I was younger, the ones I did see, it just made me so hungry for what I'm doing now. So,
really?
Yeah.
Inspiration for dance moves also, I guess,
totally.
Eh?
For years, Janet and Madonna fans have been in a fierce custody battle over Britney Spears, arguing over which one of them has had a bigger impact on her. And when it comes to Britney, the media often describes her as Madonna's musical daughter, but I think that's largely inaccurate. So much about Britney Spears from 1999 to 2004 is very Janet Jackson coded, from the body language and sweet shyness to the surprising sensual fierceness on stage. But for some reason, the media never gave Janet credit for greatly influencing one of pop's biggest artists of the early 2000s. They like to coin Britney as the new Madonna when that doesn't even really make sense. Seriously, what about Britney Spears gives Madonna musically and artistically, other than they're both blonde-haired white women who make pop music? Even Britney Spears' choreography early in her career gave watered-down Janet Jackson moves. Look at the chair routines in Britney's music videos for Crazy and Stronger. That is clearly Janet's influence. Britney even took songs that Janet reportedly turned down, including I'm a Slave for You, Boys, and Toxic. And on those songs, Britney's vocal delivery is very reminiscent of Janet's breathy, sensual coo. I'm a Slave for You and Toxic are top 5 Britney Spears songs, and Britney's 2001 VMA performance of I'm a Slave for You is arguably her most iconic performance. And we got those because Janet Jackson turned down those records. I mean, Britney has even been photographed in the car with a Janet Jackson album. Here's Janet on tour in 2002. Here's Britney on tour in 2004. And I'm going to show you guys a collection of gifs that show just how impactful Janet was on Britney artistically and performance-wise. Do you see what I'm getting at? Isn't it crazy how Gen Z knows Britney Spears, but they have no idea a lot of her artistic DNA comes from Janet Jackson? Next thing I want to talk about are some song recommendations to help you get into Janet's discography. If Someone to Call My Lover was your intro to Janet and you want more pop vibes, I suggest you check out the song's parent album, All For You. Specifically, You Ain't Right, Doesn't Really Matter, All For You, Feel So Right, China Love, and Come On Get Up. If you want R&B pop vibes, I suggest you check out 2004's criminally underrated Demita Joe album. Specifically songs Strawberry Bounce, Spending Time With You, All Night Don't Stop, R&B Junkie, and Slow Love. And if you must listen to one album that encapsulates everything that Janet Jackson is artistically and musically, then you have to listen to The Velvet Rope. This is her best project, her magnum opus, her lemonade. I'm not kidding when I say this album saved lives, because it sure as hell saved mine. So overall, I'm very happy to see that Someone to Call My Lover is going viral and a new generation of music listeners are starting to become hip and aware of Janet Jackson. And I'm hopeful that as time goes on, more and more people discover the treasure chest of her music discography, because Janet Jackson has so many gems and albums that really changed the face of pop music and greatly influenced some of our favorite artists today. So now I want to ask you guys, what music, what albums, what songs, what music videos, whatever would you recommend of Janet Jackson's to someone that is completely unaware of her but wants to get into her? And I also want to ask you guys, what more could be done to increase the knowledge and awareness of Janet Jackson's music and impact to younger audiences? Do you think Janet's doing enough? Let me know what you guys think and just about this video in general. Again, thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you so much to all my new subs and to the people that supported my last video. With that being said, you will see me in the next one. Peace.